Hey folks, welcome. We've got a couple minutes left before we go live. Slightly new change to the format of how we start the show. We're trying some different things here because, you know, as soon as you get the whole system rock solid, it's obviously time to change it. No, but what we're trying now is instead of going live to a pre-built show where I actually go in and create an event and load the keywords and everything into that in the thumbnail, the Streaming Now event seems to offer a little bit more flexibility in that the URL never changes. And so that's something that we're going to try. And one of the disadvantages of it is that I can't pre-stream to YouTube, make sure that everything's good, and then hit go live. So this is why we started full 10 minutes early so that we could make sure we have a clean stream, put the countdown up, and then a couple minutes before, like I just did here, I will get rid of the music, come up to me, and do my normal pre-show with the goal of starting the show at 9:30 instead of starting the pre-show at 9:30. So I don't know, we're gonna try it. We'll see how it works out. We'll see if viewership goes up or down depending on it. You know, there's always something to play with. The advantage is that the URL that we tweet out never changes, and that also means that anybody who clicks on that URL later, they just happen to find an old tweet or something, it doesn't take them to the old live show, which is the one that we don't want them to watch. We want them to watch the edited, uploaded version afterwards. So it will just take them to the next live show. Oh, we'll see. We'll let this go for a while, see what happens, see if it ends up hurting or helping. You never know. It's only one way to find out, isn't there? So greetings, everybody who's out there. I see Mr. Real House Films. I saw your text this morning. Have not opened them yet. Don't know what you sent me. Nick, greetings. Matt, Marvin, Nick. Always good to see you guys here. It's funny. Yeah, you're right. There's always somebody who's got a thumbs down in the beginning. That's you know, that's how you know you're succeeding. You got the haters. Plenty of them. Anyway, let's see. Let's get this all ready to go. We are just about, what do we got? Oh, look at that, it's time to go. Excellent, I moved the clock because of the title thing. Yeah, whatever, all right. Let's do this thing. Ryan, hit record on there, will you? There we go. It is going. Let's have a show, shall we? Am I recording? I am recording. Today we're gonna talk about how to take pictures with one hand when that one hand is your left hand. Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live 3 times a week show here at youtube.com/PhotoJoseph every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, 2:30 a.m. Australia time. And I bring that up because hopefully we have a special viewer from Australia today. So today's show is specifically about how to take pictures, how to use a camera when you only have a left hand. What a strange topic. Why would I do this? Well, if you didn't see Casey's latest 368 video that came out on Saturday, yeah, I'm a total fanboy, but if you haven't seen it yet, watch it. I'll put a link to it at the very end of this video. In that video, he interviews this chap named Paul de Gelder. And Paul has one hand because a shark took his right hand. The guy's a Army paratrooper, Navy diver. This guy is, as Casey puts it, one badass mother. He is the dude. So he lost a hand. And in his video, he talks about how hard it is to use a camera with just the one hand. Let me show you.
Booyah.
Okay.
So that's where the shark took it off from. But this is what we were discussing before, why I have problems with the camera. Because I can't hold it with my right hand.
Oh, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
And then when you're moving your arm, you're fucking with the zoom and you can't grip it. There's nowhere to hold it.
Come on, camera companies, figure this out.
What do I do?
So there you go. That's the challenge that Paul has. And so I watched that video and I thought, there is a better way than this. There certainly is a better way than balancing a camera here and operating with your left hand. And there's a few different things that I came up with. And here's the first one. you've seen these before. This is a battery grip. This is the GH5. This is a vertical battery grip on the GH5. It gives you an extra battery, but it also gives you a vertical trigger. The whole point of this is so that you can hold the camera in a vertical portrait orientation without having to do this, right? You get your hand like this. But what that means is that you can actually hold the camera in your left hand upside down and trigger it. Now, this is not ideal. I mean, now everything's upside down, but the pictures, they'll flip over in Lightroom or whatever, no problem. Your buttons, your menus are all upside down, but they're here. You can access them. So here's what I was going to do, just to kind of demo a little bit of, it's not just about taking pictures, you got to get to the menus. I'm going to put on this big mitten so I don't accidentally kind of try to cheat to use it. But imagine, if you will, so you've got your camera, and you can hold it like so. So there's your trigger. You can, at this point, set the camera down, rotate it over, set it down right side up, and now you can access all the menus you need here. You could hold it in your arm here and get to all the touchscreen interfaces. And then once again, just pick it up, and away you go like this. So that's the easy way. That is number one. And that is something that you can do today, right? If you go out and if you've got a camera that will take the vertical grip, you can get one. You can buy some cameras that have a vertical grip built in. I know some of the bigger Canon Nikons do that. I would imagine you want to keep the camera relatively lightweight, but as you saw, Paul's kind of a big guy. I'm not too worried about the strength there. But this is a great way to do it. So that's one solution. But I thought, maybe there's even more that we can do. So he talks about his prosthetic arm. It's this really awesome $90,000 prosthetic arm that he's got. And I'm thinking, what if he could mount the camera onto the arm itself? So the idea I came up with is mounting a quick release plate either permanently onto the arm or with a strap. Now, first, if you're not familiar with a quick release plate, this is a quick release plate. It is a plate that is two parts. There's the plate part that attaches to the camera, the part that attaches to your tripod, and the whole idea is that you have a way to very quickly, very easily get your camera on and off, right? Nice and secure. Once it's on there, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. You can buy these as just individual little plates. So here's a little small one that I've got here. Let's go for a close-up on this. And you can see this is basically just this little plate on here. I've already got the bottom end of it attached to this small camera, the GX85. And this piece snaps in, and it locks in. And when it locks in, to loosen it, you just do the lever. So basically what's happening is it's pushing on this snaps forward, this part of it here clips onto the plate, holds it in place. You can even, depending on your plate, you can lock it, like this locks it so you can't accidentally take it off. There's a lot of variety in plates out there, a lot of different things. Now, imagine if you just bolted this onto the arm. He's got this big, I don't know, carbon fiber or whatever arm. Maybe you could bolt it on there, and then you have this small plate that's there. And now it might get in the way if it's a permanent thing. That might be kind of annoying. But you could also strap it. So I rigged this up this morning. I just bought a strap with a little buckle strap, and I bolted this on. You can see what this looks like on here. I've just done a quick little screw in on there, bolted on. Now, I would actually prefer that this be Velcro. I think it'd be a lot easier to do one-handed to get it really, really tight, but I couldn't find a Velcro strap, so I just used this. But I'm going to put this on my own wrist. Now, imagine, if you will, if this was going onto a solid arm, it would be much more steady than this. This is going to be on my squishy arm here, so it's obviously not going to be rock solid. But on a solid arm, that would be pretty rock solid. You can put it up here, whatever works. Now, I can take this camera with the plate on it and slap it on there, and now I've got a way to hold the camera. And again, it wouldn't be moving, it would be solid. I got a way to hold the camera. Now I'm operating with my left hand, but I have that left hand free to zoom, to focus, to change settings. Everything's free. This is just locked in place. And of course, if you put your hand down, the camera's not going to fall off because it's what it's designed for. It's designed to stay on there. So that's another method. And then I was also thinking about, well, okay, if you're doing this, whether you're locking it onto your right arm or you're just holding it with your left hand, odds are you don't want to hold it the whole time. Obviously, you can just put a camera strap on. That's one way to do it. But regular viewers of the show know that I'm not a huge fan of straps. They tend to get in the way. And so another idea that I had was a special type of plate that has other ways to mount it, other places you can mount it to. And this one is from Peak Design. This is the plate, same thing, quick release plate. But this little guy here is this clever attachment that you can put just about anywhere. You can attach this to your belt. You could attach it to, if you're wearing a backpack, you could put it here. And then this will allow you to mount the camera into it. So let me just real quick here. For example, I'm going to go ahead and put this thing on my belt here. Just get this into place, lock that in. And now, let me tuck the shirt in to get that out of the way. If I switch over to the other camera here, I can take this, well, let's do it with my left hand. I can take this and lock that into place there, and that's now locked in. And there's a release on here. There's a little button on the bottom. You can't really see it. There's a little red button on here. Push that button, and it releases out. And now you've got a nice, easy way to hang your camera, mount it on your person so you don't have to carry it all the time. So Paul, this one's for you. Hopefully some of these tips are useful. Hopefully you find a way that works for you. I really like this vertical mount thing because it does give you that capability, just like you're shooting with a regular camera with your right hand, but you're holding it in your left hand. Yeah, all the buttons and knobs aren't going to necessarily fall where they should, but I think it would work. So that is my suggestion for you. I hope it's useful. For those watching live, we are about to go into the Q&A section of the show. If you have any ideas, any other thoughts about how Paul might be able to shoot with just a left hand, let's talk about them. Let's bring it up right now. Greetings and welcome back to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. We are in the Q&A session of the show. We just talked about how you can take pictures when you just have a left hand. And in case you missed it, go back and watch it. We'll link to it right here. But here's the main thing. Using your left hand with a vertical grip would allow you to do that. So what I want to know is if any of you guys out there watching live have any other ideas, anything else we can share with Paul, any other thoughts on how he might be able to do this. This is what I came up with over the weekend, but you know, maybe there's some other ideas out there. I didn't even Google it. Something tells me if I Google it, I'd find some other ideas that other people have come up with, but I thought, I want to see what I can come up with on my own. So what's going on in the chit chat room here over here? Let's just bring up the comments. What's going on? Real House Films, good morning to everybody. Nick and Marvin and Stuart and Andrew, everybody's saying hello. Sean, Real House Film, wants to know where the other hand is. Yes, exactly. Those aren't pillows. Name that movie. And Stuart says, you love the, I'm thinking about the issue. It was an interesting thing. That Casey's video was really interesting. When I watched that, I thought, you know, this is a problem that needs to be solved. And I don't see camera manufacturers making a left-handed grip. I kind of think that someone did. It might have been Canon. I think that 20, 30 years ago, someone did make a left-handed camera, but it's just, you know, it's not a big popular thing because most two-handed people, even if you're left-handed, you just learn to use your right hand for it. But when, like Paul, a shark decided to eat your right hand, you need better options. So this is what we've got today. So looks like nobody in the chat has any other suggestions. Nobody out there has any suggestions? Any questions? Anything else you want to ask? It's a quiet morning out there today, isn't it? If there's no other questions, then I'm going to have to kill this part of the show, and it's going to be a real short Q&A session for people who are watching it not live. And, oh, there we go. Stuart, thank you very much. That's what we needed. We needed a question here. Stuart says, seems odd that every major manufacturer goes with right hand only. Can't see why we shouldn't be able to make a function button operate as a left-hand shutter. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So make one of the function buttons operate as a shutter. Huh, interesting. Because, okay, so we're holding, like here I've got the, let's go for a lighter weight setup here. Actually, you know what? It helps to have that bigger grip on there and holding it with your left hand. So there is, for example, the FN5 button on here. If I push that, if I could program that to be a shutter, that could be interesting. So you can see how I'm kind of holding this here. I've got the lens between my fingers here to put the weight on it because it doesn't have all the finger grip here that you normally would have, right? This has got a good grip. This doesn't, so I'm kind of wrapping around the lens. Could I make, I don't even know if I could. I'm going to take a quick look. I don't think you can. Remember on the Lumix cameras, to change the function button, just press and hold it for a couple of seconds. It pops up the menu, but I am quite sure that shutter is not. I know I could make it focus. I could set focus to it. I wonder, actually, there is, okay, now you really got me thinking. There is the ability to set the camera to fire on half press. So if I set the camera to fire on half press and then I set the FN5 button to focus, would that do it? Ooh, probably not. But this is really interesting. So for anybody who's not watching live, this might get a little boring while I try to find this menu. But in the meantime, for those watching live, come up with another question, another comment for me. I'm going to try and find this function because I have no idea where this is. Let's see here. To focus, release, shutter. There we go. Shutter, half press release. Okay, so half press release, I'm turning on. You know what, here, I should probably just plug this thing in so you guys can see what's going on here. Let's plug this into the camera. And then you will see the menu system. And with any luck, let's see here. I've got to find the right preview for this. Because I don't think it's on here. No, it's not. I have so many presets that finding the right one these days, if I don't plan on using it, it's not on the front page, and then I have no idea where it is. No. Oh, here we go. Sweet, that's the one. Excellent. All right, so in the menu system, so I went to the custom wrench menu, focus, release, shutter, and then half press release, and I just turned that on. right, or I'm turning that on. So now, this is interesting. I've never used this before. Now when I push the shutter halfway, well, it's not taking a picture. What is that supposed to? Oh, it's in movie mode. It started shooting a movie. Okay, let me put this into still picture mode. Yeah, so I half press, and it focuses and then shoots. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so we got that. So now, let's see here. Now let's go to the FN5 function. Oop, get rid of that. FN5, bring that up. Is that going to show you? Yes, it does. And now I want to find focus. Autofocus lock. Autofocus on. There we go. Okay. Will it do it? Oh, it doesn't. Darn. Oh, so close. It focuses. It's focusing, but it is not triggering the shutter. Interesting, but I like the idea, Stuart. I think that is a very, very good idea, and that is something that camera manufacturers could do via a software or firmware update. Allow the camera to have the shutter button programmed into a function button, and that might be possible in other cameras. And maybe there's still a way in here. It's not what I'm not thinking of it, but I like the idea. I like the idea a lot. Nick says a camera cage could be configured to help with the left-handed grip. Very, very true. You would still have the issue of shutter release, so how to actually trigger the shutter. If you wanted to get crazy, you could put a cage in the camera. Okay, we're getting somewhere. You could put the camera in a cage and then have a remote control, right? You wouldn't use this because it'd be too big, but I don't know if you could find any smaller, but you basically use a remote control and mount that onto the left side of the cage. Oh, I like that a lot, actually. The camera goes into a cage. Let me grab, I have a cage here. This is rigged up for video use, so you would certainly not configure it this way. But the camera, well, without got all these plates on here now, without a plate on the bottom, of course, you go into a cage like this. You could mount a handle onto the side of the cage and then put this onto the handle. In fact, I could even take this small rig cage. Okay, well, now I got to do this because now we're getting somewhere. This is really interesting. Real House Films, that's exactly, you're saying perhaps install the remote shutter on the arm as well. That is precisely where I am headed with this. All right, let's see here. Let me put this in. So now you really got me thinking, now I got to actually try it. We're going to actually build it. See, I knew the Q&A section would be good. Just got to get you guys warmed up a bit. All right, so there's that. Let's take this arm off of here. And I'm going to mount this on the side. If I can remember which way is loosen, which way is tighten on the sync. Come here. There we go. There we go. Get that off of there. It's a good idea. Now, this particular grip is not going to be an ideal grip for left-handed holding. This whole rig is from a company called Small Rig. I just saw that they have released some wooden grips, and I don't know if there's a left-handed grip in there, but if there was, that would certainly be ideal. So now we take this. Let's mount this on the side here. Oh, we want to do it. We'd want to go horizontal. Okay, so we'd have to think. Oh, wait, this moves. Right. I think, can that get mounted? I don't know if this can get mounted sideways or not. This is things that we find out when we're live. Good ideas like this take a little bit of time and effort to figure out, but hopefully it'll make it worthwhile. So now I'm taking this whole thing apart. I'm going to need this at some point, not have any idea how to put it back together. So I want to mount this. It doesn't. Okay, that doesn't mount that way. All right. Need to find a way to mount that on there. Well, again, they have lots of different tools. I believe they have a left-handed. I know they have wooden grips now. If they have one for the left hand, you would then take this, mount it up in front, and away you go. So it's a great idea. That is a fantastic idea. I say it's worth trying as well. Stuart says, also, would a relatively high-end integrated lens camera be a better option for this? But then you need zoom buttons on the remote and shutter as well. So what he's talking about would be something like the Z1000, I think it was, where you've got motorized zoom in the camera. It's kind of an all-in-one. And that's great because then you can zoom it with your finger, but the problem there, again, is that you're not going to have a left-handed way to do it. One of the things that you can, hold the camera like this and kind of get to the functions, even without going for the grip. So that is an option as well. But then you're covering the viewfinder. It's much more clumsy to hold. But that is how you'd have to get to that zoom rocker. So I don't know that would really help. I did think of that, but without the ability to add the vertical grip, I don't know that I don't know that you'd be able to do that. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, wait, how am I doing it again? There we go, like that. You also, on this camera, you'd probably want to cut this little bolt off of there because that really hits your hand like that. Obviously, it's not designed for that, but you know, it could certainly work. It could certainly work. Okay, anything else? Looks like not. All right, I think we're going to cut it off there. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching. That was fun. Thanks for the great ideas and suggestions. I really like the idea of putting it in a cage. It would add to the weight and to the bulk of it, but if you could get the left-handed grip on there, that would probably do it right. Do it well. I'll take a look and see if there is a. Let's just take a quick look. Was it smallrig.com? Let's just take a look at their webpage real quick and see if. There we go. Look at this, right on the front page. There you go, left-handed grip. So that type of a mount with that left-handed grip, wooden grip, the RE Rosetta just pops right in. Rosette pops right in. That's interesting. That is really, really interesting. So yeah, this with a little clever rigging could actually work. All right, we'll put links to this all down below. I actually have if you use PhotoJoseph on checkout at Small Rig, you can get I think 10% off. We'll put all that down below for you. All right, guys, that is that. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Guess what? Wednesday's show is the 2-year anniversary of the show. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I have an idea. We'll see. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye-bye.